Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Stream of Chaos. My name is James, and I will be the game master for today's game of Rivers of London. We are back, returning to our adventures that we're playing through in the Font of All Evil. Fortunately, there is no statute of limitations on murder. So we are able to dive right back in and continue with our investigations along the banks of the River Thames. I'm joined, as I always am, by this fantastic crew of players, and I would like to get them to introduce themselves, but before I do that, I will quickly say thank you to Roll20 and to Sirenscape, tools which we use to improve our games. Let's get people to say hello. Starting off, tell the people who you are and who exactly were you playing? I've kind of forgotten myself.
Hi, I'm Art. I don't know who I am either, as a person or as a character. It's all a mystery. But according to my character sheet, I am playing Elaine Pudding, aka Pudding, who is a slight, kind of waifish individual in their early to mid 20s. Bright copper red pixie cut, incredibly like uh effervescent's not the word I'm looking for, but it's close. Like green eyes, so green eyes. Yeah, I don't know. Pick a word starting with E that makes sense as a descriptor there. An adjective even. And Pudding's whole thing is they're kind of magic, and they're kind of magic but fire.
That pretty much sums it up. Perfect. We have Elaine Pudding. Thank you very much. Moving across to Jackson.
Hey, that's me. I'm Jackson. I'm playing PC Patrick Lewis, a police constable, a database aficionado, and an apprentice wizard, all to bundle it in. I don't think I've ever described him. I think I said he was. Oh no, I've already forgotten his name. The young guy from the thick of it.
I
He's
do
got
remember you using that description. I had to look that
he's
person up.
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
got
yeah.
big round glasses, kind of a mop of dark hair. Wears a suit that's just slightly too tight and
Oh, I
too
do know who you
clean.
mean now. Yep.
There you go. And yeah, just does his best to get around the laws. I had to fact check you on that, Jim, and you're right, but you were slightly misleading.
Oh,
In the UK, there are no statute of limitations on any crimes which are triable by jury.
okay. There you
There you
go.
go.
All right. So it's not just murder. It's
Not
all
just murder.
kinds of crimes.
Isn't statute of limitations like kind of an American thing more than
We
anything?
have it here.
It's
We
the
do?
same in
There you
most
go.
European countries as well. It stands apart from the European countries.
It's
There you
a
go.
major plot in a great Korean murder mystery. And speaking of Korean murder mysteries, Dave.
Yeah, hi. I am Dave, and I'm playing Lucy, a dog. If I had to describe her, she looks a lot like Peter Capaldi's character in The Thick of It.
I can see it. I can see it.
Gotcha.
And I'm an investigator dog. I'm good at sniffing out magics with my. Well, that's just a normal nose, but animals kind of have a sense for these things. And I'm currently in a pub, which I think is the natural space for a dog.
It's a good
Yeah.
place to be. Nothing goes wrong. Lots of food.
Dogs in pubs, UK.
Lord, there is no statute of
Chill, man,
limitation.
chill.
All right, and last but not least, we have Alex.
Hi, I'm Alex. I am playing Barton Oslo. He's an accountant technically, but it's not really a passion for him. What the passion is photography, right? Paranormal photography. He's 52 years old. Big lad. Always been a big boy. Bachelor, lives alone, except well, not anymore. Lives with Lucy. Because there's a door out into the street. She mostly just comes and goes. And a hedge wizard because I found some. I was looking for it's film photography, right? So I'm looking for books on old cameras and that kind of thing. And I found a book with a bunch of things in it that turn out to be spells that make my photography good and better. So now I do those.
All good signs. All right. Fantastic. Yes, that is our cast of investigators for this game. And just a quick summary of where we are before we jump right back in. Collection of you are working with the Folly, some directly, like PC Lewis, and the rest of you, consultants, helping out and solving cases in the grand tradition of police procedurals. you've solved a couple of cases with them now across the course of the story we've told so far. But your most recent one is the first time that hardcore moida has come up, and while you were looking into it seemed like a little more relaxed situation of basically the vibes being off in the city at large, you were suddenly called by Nightingale, who let you know that there had been a murder across one side of the city, and you had to rush over to get to it. The victim is a person named Edgar Marsh. They died in their small apartment, and you went over to take a look at the crime scene. While you were there, you found a bunch of evidence that Marsh was connected to basically a few different interesting subcultures. For one, the collecting scene had all kinds of interesting things, from like books to stamps to cards and stuff like that. They also seem to be involved in the mudlarking community, people who go along the banks of the River Thames and other places as well, searching for anything from washed up Roman pottery to shards of last week's Coke bottle. You know, it can be the whole range of everything in between. You'd also figured out that there's a little bit of a mudlark link to the vibes being off more generally. After investigating the area for a little bit more time, you found a weird box with a foul vestigia attached to it. You found that there had been a visitor to Marsha's house who didn't appear to be particularly savory, and then splitting off, you went to kind of follow up on a few of these leads. So PC Lewis, when we pick up with you, you have gone to attend an autopsy, and that's going to be where we start things off.
Did we get a little bit of that last time? I can't remember. I seem to recall looking at a body and seeing something gross, and I was so grossed out I didn't even write it down in my notes. Well, so we're gonna have to do it again.
Exactly. Well, the idea was that I wanted to end on a kind of interesting beat, so I gave us a little teaser of how the autopsy was going to go. But we'll get some more detail, and always good to sum things up here. Meanwhile, Barton, you were at your home going through surveillance footage that you had pulled from the area around Marsha's house, and in particular, you had been able to isolate that the person who visited Marsh, and who one of the mechanic who works nearby had said was not a particularly nice sort, appears to be somebody called Robert Coach. You have their details. Specifically, you know that they have you have the address of their business address, and which is a building called Coach Publishing. You also have their home address. And then Pudding and Lucy, the two of you, went to a bar. This was the bar where some trash in Marsha's bin had led Lucy, with her acute nose, but also you knew just generally that this was a bar where the Mudlarks hung out. And getting in there, you managed to ask a couple of questions. You found out that the Mudlarks knew that they were on the lookout for things for Coach, and that if they delivered them, they'd get paid. But Coach appeared to be a bit of a difficult person to work with, and I think that Barton, you also figured out, had an assault charge in his background, so not the nicest of individuals.
No.
That's kind of where we left everything. We'll pick right back in, diving into the investigation. But first of all, any final questions? Anything I've missed? Any details people want to bring up first?
How do you roll luck again? Just a regular.
I rolled my luck at the start of the last session, so I've left.
Oh, looks like. Oh, is that
the idea?
Like last session where we half attempted. I have two questions, Jim.
Yes.
Robert Coach's arrival, that was like dated before or after Marsha's death, tentatively.
Robert Coach appears at the surveillance footage that you have of Coach visiting Marsh was a couple of days before
like
the
a while
death.
Ago.
So yeah, not like right before. That said, there's pretty good. I think that connecting the dots with myself, Barton, what you got with your role was you were able to comb through heaps and heaps of footage from later days, and you found via an angle that was looking at a bus stop that Coach did arrive right before the murder as well. So there is
again.
Exactly. There's a pretty good link that suggests that Coach
done did the murder. We just need to have more than just circumstantial evidence, because that Prove beyond reasonable doubt
Yeah.
is the baseline for most
I
criminals.
say arrest them and let the system figure them out. That's my motto.
You are
could
the
I get a-
system.
We are the system, unfortunately.
Could I get a description
Unfortunately,
of the
we're a
weird,
great system.
Can I get a description of the weird container, Jim?
Absolutely.
Is it like a tobacco box or a cigar tin, or is it like
It's
got
probably
a big stamp of Rillier on the front?
It's actually a pretty plain dark metal box. The best analogy might be something, although it's perhaps a little bit bigger. It looks a bit like a sardine tin or something like that. Kind of this dull, thin metal, with a couple of like weathering scratches on it. That suggests it's pretty old. It's empty. As far as you can tell, it's empty. There's nothing in it. The only
No false bottoms.
it's too
There's
thin.
only the size for it.
Exactly. The only weird thing about it, and it's you could store, I don't know, you could store a ton of dice in this. Salesman slaps top of tin.
Jim,
But
could you perhaps store like a small book?
you could store a small book in here. Yeah, there's all kinds of things you could store in this mysterious.
So
a
so-
small book, you say, from a man who had a library of weird books, you say.
I
Man,
had
we can ignore that.
I have a few quick kind of questions, and these we have who has the tin currently, just to see if this is something that we can kind of look into. Okay, I as a dog am incapable of doing some of these things, but I'm curious about the following. Does it look as though it seals watertight so that if something was in it and were submerged in the Thames, it wouldn't have been destroyed? And is there any cushioning on the interior that might protect something fragile? Or if it's just like a sardine tin, you wouldn't have like, fine china or anything in there because it'd rattle around to death.
that is
And is there a latch? Is there something that would seal it?
that is a great question. No latch. It seals well enough that you would, if you put a bunch of stuff in it and dropped in the Thames, it wouldn't fall out, but it is not watertight. If it was in there, it would slowly be damaged. Yeah, or
unless it was in
Something else,
like wax paper bound things might.
yeah, and that's sort of what you're getting to. If what was in there itself was able to resist the effects of water, it's not going to get. It's not going to get bounced around at the bottom of the Thames. The box will provide at least enough protection to stop that.
Gotcha.
And
no cushioning on the inside.
No cushioning on the inside. Really, just an empty tin, which suggests that something has been taken out of it. And again, the bizarre thing about this is that there is just this heinous vestigia attached to
gross,
it. The worst smelling thing you've ever been hit with.
And is that the same sense of sort of horns and yelling, sadness, grief, loss, horrible smell of filth? Is that one? The same one that I got at the Munchie Man's?
Exactly. Yeah. So you gotta. I think to be clear, you didn't get it at the Munchie Man's church. You got it in following. You got a whiff of it.
I think that's right.
But yes, it's the same root vestigia. That's correct.
Heard.
Okay.
I have a vestigia that was noted as salty burnt wood and tar. Was that is that related?
That was the vestigia that you got lingering around within the Marsha's apartment itself. So
but the box has its own stank.
Yes, exactly.
Cool. Okay. Extra stank. Good to know.
So what you're finding here is again evidence of kind of multiple things. Now I will flag that none of you sort of got the clue busting crit on the vestigia details, so there still might be more to discover there that you can go into, which is why you have your ghost smelling dog nearby. Anything else, or shall we jump into some autopsy time?
Let's do it.
Let's hit it. I am also going to text everybody, except Lucy, obviously, who I will simply tell, and assume she understands that the stuff that I saw on the surveillance footage, specifically if I can get a clip of suspicious things, of specifically the bus stop angle that's looking at when he's arriving at a suspicious time, and make sure that everybody kind of has that on hand.
I mean, if it goes to me while we're in the pub, I will see it, go, ooh, and then just turn the phone around to point at Lucy and go, it's for you. Because that's just the vibe of what pudding would do in
Yeah.
a social situation. It's a weird unit.
I was about to say, yeah.
Show the dog.
We should show the photo to people here though. We should see if any of the mudlarks recognize him. He might have been if he's like buying stuff off them.
I think
they
we've
might know him.
already established that because they do know him.
Okay.
I think.
Yeah, coach. So
We established, that they are,
Never mind.
because I think Alex did text.
No,
sorry,
I
Barton
believe
texted
we-
us the name already, and we were like,
Yep.
yeah,
No,
because
absolutely.
the
The name
vibe
through.
was.
It's a good idea. It's so good that I believe that that's basically where we closed off last time. You show the details to the Mudlarks here. They confirm, yeah, that's Coach. They know him as somebody who
He's not very nice, but he has a lot of money.
Yeah, and
he'll buy stuff off
He's
them.
willing to pay for specific things that they track
Yeah.
down and everything like that.
And he didn't have like an outstanding desire for Roman lithographs or
No,
something.
he absolutely did. He said that he was interested in anything metal that they get and that they find along. He was interested
Surely
in
that's
purchasing.
most of it that gets like metal.
Some of it be glass.
Okay.
Pretty much. I mean, everything washes up, right? What makes it a little bit difficult is that like all of the different materials have different patterns. Like the obviously the lighter stuff goes. Metal can tend to lie down there for a long time. But it is also pretty classically important because you can get sort of old stuff from centuries past that has been sitting at the bottom of the Thames and then for one reason or another gets dredged up and drifts. And now suddenly you've got a cool piece. Of course, most stuff is corroded to all hell. But yes, that's the that's the angle. So across to the autopsy area. PC Lewis, you've come down and you know that Marsha's body is being handled by the finest professionals that the London police have at their disposal. Specifically, the autopsy is being handled by a Dr. Noah, first name Arnold, who is probably somebody you are have heard of professionally before, but you have no direct kind of attachment to them. How comfortable are you with the idea of being present to witness a full autopsy?
Not thrilled, but it's got to happen at some point. This is the line of work he's ended up in, so it's got to be done.
It's a very normal reaction to not be it's totally fine or to be I'm totally terrified. You're just you've got average misgivings.
Open-minded, I think. Maybe I think yes, Patrick doesn't know what kind of reaction he's going to have, but he's going to have to find out sooner or later.
The scenario gives you a fantastic opportunity that I really like. If you have medical skill, you can say, "Get out of the way! I'm gonna do it," and try and ask. Would you like to try and argue with Dr. Noah that you should be permitted to conduct the autopsy?
I should like to elect against doing that at this time.
What relevant skills would you be pitching to get it done?
Latin.
Yeah,
I know the names of everything that's going on in there.
Absolutely. All right. So now, when you arrive, Dr. Noah's been stabbed in the neck, and you have to immediately. Sorry, bad reference.
Very good. Very good.
Coming through, you are escorted into a side room, and very professionally, after signing a bunch of requisite paperwork and going through all of the safety induction and procedures, get to bear witness while all scrubbed up to the autopsy. I alluded last time we played that there's one specific wound in particular that is dramatic, but I'm going to go through all of the details again just for thoroughness. So,
thank goodness.
First of all, Edgar Marsh is a very, very lean individual. They are they've got a little bit of light stubble, but really, really quite narrow-shouldered and thin. Not emaciated, but about as thin as you can get and slight as you can get without it being something noteworthy. They have defensive wounds across their arms. Large, long scratches, quite deep, as if they had shielded themselves from attack. More particularly, they have a very, very large wound in the center of their body, around the kind of middle of their chest. It's big, a couple of inches across, and it drives straight through them to the other side of their body. It's almost like a lamprey kind of suction, sort of really
Like
gross.
a hole punch.
Yeah, exactly. It's jagged and unclean. This is not a smooth, weird kind of beautiful thing. It looks more like horrid impact.
What kind of size are we talking about? Like fist size or vacuum tube?
Because the edges of this wound are not uniform, it is hard to get a sense of just how big the hole really is precisely. But that is what Dr. Noah is there to do. I might ask you at this point to give me an appropriate skill check, I think, to try and get a sense of this and other sort of central details as you go forward.
As the doctor begins to mutter in Latin.
Is first aid a skill in this game? I cannot remember.
I don't believe it's a common skill. So
Can you tell that we usually play Call of Cthulhu in that one, when you went, it's like jagged, I was like, oh, so not weird eldritch magic. And the other one was, oh, he's got defensive wounds on his arms, and my brain immediately just went, fish people! Innsmouth!
Innsmouth, that's it.
I would not
And it
be
was like,
surprised.
no, that's not what that's wrong universe, art. Back in your box.
Yeah.
Sure. I guess I'll go for if you want an expert skill, I guess you go for forensics.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds incredible. Otherwise, I was going to suggest you could try and open a skill if you would like. This feels like one of those moments, but forensics is fantastic.
My expert skill list is literally full, and I'm sure there's no rules against adding more. But I feel like that's the graphic designer of the character sheet telling me you've probably had enough.
You had enough, buddy.
Leave some for the rest of us, man.
I'll go for forensics, shall I?
Okay, please do.
Not great. Nah, not happening. 81 over 30.
81. Okay, so
Is this skill just called magnifying glass, Jackson?
Why did I do that? Why did I call this skill magnifying glass?
that's incredible.
In my macro, that's hilarious. I'll fix that sometime. If my brain broke in like magnifying glass emoji, magnifying glass, hilarious.
Brilliant. Bending down to examine and kind of hovering about. The wound itself is probably about fist size. It would be a good guess. But as to what specifically made the impact, again, it's like how you can get shot with a bullet and it can leave a much bigger hole than a bullet because it does trauma. This is all the kind of stuff that is getting explained to you by Dr. Noah as you go. How are you holding up, do you think?
Do I have a con roll?
Sure, why don't we go for it?
I want dice to decide. Oh, not great. 43 over 40. I'm not spending luck on this.
Okay.
So yeah,
I can tell you how you might feel because I did one of my work experience things in a veterinary oncology and was in a warm room with a dog getting a blood transfusion. So I can probably tell you exactly how you feel.
Just a bit sick, I imagine.
Honestly, it's more you get flushed, lightheaded, feel a bit fluttery in the stomach, and you just kind of really need to sit down. And the smell is weirdly can be quite sweet and sickly. I think especially so. Obviously, it wasn't a dead animal, so I don't know whether that is similar. But anything to do with fluids and stuff, I imagine it would just be there's just a smell where you're like, oh, none of this feels good. I don't necessarily feel like I'm going to actively be sick, but I do feel like I'm going to faint.
Good.
Adding to that aesthetic moment, I have a friend who did a lot of anatomy drawing, and it's a common fact among them that formaldehyde and the scent of makes people hungry. So all of this just adding to a little bit of a hole in your guts it's an unpleasant sensation. So a lot of what Dr. Noah has said is coming in one ear and out the other. He continues to talk and go through stuff. As he's examining the wound, he kind of looks up towards you and says, obviously this is the most dramatic portion, and from what I understand, it was why the Falcon unit was contacted. This is extremely unusual. I have never seen any injury like this outside of catastrophic trauma incidents, and to have it so isolated is quite bizarre. Bends down and continues to work.
Dr. Noah, have you engaged in Falcon cases before?
I have the regrettable fortune of being the point end for my branch, but I'm by no means an expert in atypical forensics, shall we say.
Cryptopathology.
Cryptopathology. That's
That's what we call it in the business.
Ah.
So, Jim, sorry, just like for my sake of world building and what have you, we have a doctor or something at the Folly, don't we? We had someone who like looked over the mummy.
You have you have a couple of
like specific thing.
They look like consultants.
Exactly. Basically, the Folly is pretty. The existence of magic within the interconnected
magic,
is a fairly open secret, and people like Barton stumble across it relatively often. The consultants that you are speaking to, there will be people of varying degrees of attachment to the Folly, but they also have lives and they have schedules and they have, they can get busy. It's entirely possible for a case to fall onto the shoulders of a consultant who is, associated but not an expert. So there's not somebody who would be at the Folly every day and schooled in all of the bits and pieces. They may, confuse your work with like other sort of X-Filesy things they might have seen, but.
I would imagine also there's internal politics within the police and everyone too. Like we can't, if we wrestle a case away, I imagine we need to make a point for it. So it's often just easy to let it lie and work within their jurisdiction.
You're absolutely correct. And since this was a little bit further out, one of the ones at the edge, it's probably where the sort of boosters of the Folly, so to speak, people like Detective Seawall and stuff, even if they don't like some of the individuals, don't have as much pull out here.
I'll be very excited if at one point someone will yell, "You don't have jurisdiction." I don't know if it's going to be us or someone else, but I'd just like to put that out.
Let me
as a wish for the.
Let me make a note of that.
Thank you.
Well,
personally, Lucy, I hope that it's
my
you.
want.
I would like it to be you, Lucy.
What did I just say as I bound over the table?
Well, the Metropolitan Police have is like the force that has stations all over London, except for the City of London as the City of London Police, which is entirely separate.
And
so
the trains.
That's where things get a bit testy. Yes, and the British Transport Police are separate again.
This is great.
Anyway,
if there's one thing that the British do well, it's bureaucracy.
The autopsy continues to go through, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a roll for Dr. Noah, and you'll get a little bit of information based off that. But if you would like to influence the outcome of that roll in any way, steer a particular direction, or get any other questions out, this is sort of the last point that you have to kind of change things up.
I imagine anything else unusual apart from the wound, or is that done blood work? Any unusual substances?
No, all the standard toxicology screens have come up normal.
I know I'm not there, but can I make a suggestion?
Sure, why not?
I'd love that.
You said that he's got wounds on his arms. It'd be interesting to know whether those looked like clean cuts from something like a knife, or whether they're a bit more jagged, as though they were more like claws. Like, what kind of...
The nature of the scratch is similar to the wound. I
suspect that there is a potential for it to be like, we don't know, it's just fucking cuts, yo. Who knows? But if there is a possibility for some more information about what was likely to have done that.
So
a bit more about the scratches would be great. And whether the scratches would have bled a lot. There was blood splatter over the scene, wasn't there?
There was, yes, that's correct.
We didn't find a chunk of like a couple of inch wide flesh tube, did we? We didn't find any viscera or anything. We just
No.
Dave,
Imagine
you were
just
the
find-
one who were talking about cauliflower eyeballs. Hush now.
Imagine just finding a congealed soup can of just meat.
I mean, I don't actually think that's how that would work.
You ever been to a baseball game?
Because, like, oh.
Do you want to go to one?
Yeah, I don't think that's how it works because
the
we're not
fuck?
solid meat all the way through. It would be like punch hole
don't-
in skin.
I
But
don't
like
know what's going on here. These
viscera,
wizards.
there'd be like something other like bone shards, viscera, bits of lung, like, or did we just find blood?
I will say that you didn't arrive on the scene as the first responders, so the police and the body
that's
had
right.
been removed, which means that with it there would have been, look, if there was a tube lying next to the body, they would have put it on its own little stretcher and carried it out as well.
Just imagining like a little Lego people, like just eating.
Yeah.
Um,
This is really good. All imagined as little Lego people.
it adds a
Every
lot, doesn't it?
scenario should be redone as the Lego version.
Oh my god, someone animate our silliness as Lego, please.
Oh dear, that
Give me
sounds
$10,000 to do
incredibly
so.
time-consuming. Yeah.
Stop motion,
Snippets
please.
only.
So, I'll make the roll now and we'll see just how much information you get. But as he goes to look at it, Dr. Noah says, no, not knives. No, too clean for that. And then adds, I don't think very much.
Dear.
They go through and start to like, examine. It's hard to say. If they're not going, I don't know, as much as they're going, look, it's hard to be distinct. I cannot give my authority.
We will
I see that
continue
nice
to-
one, Doc. How rude of you.
Yeah. What's their medical skill?
I think that
spend some luck on this.
Ooh.
yeah, sure. I'll tell you
I
what.
like that.
I'll tell you what.
It comes in 60 when you create the character.
So I think this
like
one-
if he's trained for a while, like 70-ish.
I think I had in my head 75. I thought that was entirely reasonable. So I think since you're spending it for someone else's behalf, why don't you give me a hot 10 points of luck and we'll call it.
I think that's entirely fair. 10 points of luck are all yours.
Okay,
so.
fantastic. Going through again, like, so he hesitate, can't be sure, leans back, seems to consider, looks, it looks like claws. That's all I can think. But this is not, you would not get this, like, an animal attack would have other factors. We're not seeing any evidence of an animal here. There's no details on the crime scene that suggest the presence of you'd need a bear or something like this to kind of. There's also, it's just odd altogether.
An animal couldn't take out a tube like that.
That's correct, and also a sort of glancing injury delivered by an animal would be followed up with more attacks, presumably. When you have someone who is severely injured, or it's strange.
Thinking back to the apartment, would PC Lewis recall any signs of like a bear-sized monster smashing around the place?
Well, the whole place had been sort of knocked into disarray, but you had suspected, based on the checks that you made, that was a result of
Searching. Someone found a book.
Exactly.
Old books and taken them away.
and
maybe it's a
so-
librarian.
and-
A librarian. Write that down.
terrible.
Librarian bear.
That is my lead suspect. Is the librarian.
But
Liberian libations.
Librarian.
But to your point, no, and you didn't smell anything, and this is all, and also what Dr. Noah is saying is that there's no other evidence apart from it looks like that this was like claws from like a bear or something like that that would suggest that in reality that's what happened.
Which he says sort of offhandedly and like as a. But that can't be right.
Well, I mean, yeah. Now, that said, the last thing, and this is something that you're going to get from the autopsy at any rate or not, but the question is whether you get it with enough time to ask Dr. Noah a question, or whether it's a, before you leave, one last thing gets found. Fortunately, with that success, we'll say that as Dr. Noah is going through and sort of finishing off the details, cataloguing, hesitates looking over the lamprey wound. Odd, reaches in, starts putting a pair of tweezers into the like jagged edge, and there's a second kind of canal, another passage it pushes through, and then pulls out at the end of a set of tweezers what looks like a tiny metal cube about that big and turns it around again.
It
It's
was a
like a-
dice box.
Well,
There
it
we go.
looks almost like a dice now that you mention it. But holding it up, he turns it towards you, and you see facing you, it's got a quite distinct H on the front. He takes it and drops it into a bowl towards one side, looks down, looks back up at you, and goes, I haven't seen that before. Not a bullet.
Metal isn't terrible at holding Vestigia.
It is not. Would you like to make a sense Vestigia check?
I would love to.
I am reminded that you are in an autopsy room. So what does it look like? Are you trying to keep it subtle, or
Oh
what's
yeah,
your?
this could.
Oh, I mean, he's inducted the folly. He knows what a Vestigia check is. I think it'll be fine.
Does he?
What does it look like? Just get
I
right
don't-
up.
Didn't we say that he's part of like the regular people? Like
He's done some work.
See if
You-
see if you can take it. See if you can get it.
You don't know how much is, but I think what it is that your style is to go, I'm just going to conduct a Vestigia assessment. You probably like talk out
Yes.
what you're doing, and yeah,
100%.
Just out of Jim, when you said he pulled out this thing, size-wise, are we talking like a regular like D6 size? Are we talking like a chunky boy? Are we talking like the size you would find on a friendship bracelet?
If you reach down onto your keyboard and pulled out the H key, it'd look about like that.
Oh, okay. So
Okay.
it's like a chunky. It's a slightly chunky D6.
Yeah. Well, you know,
It's a solid. I was
depends
thinking
how
friendship
cool your
bracelet
keyboard
size.
is. If you've got a custom built thing with like a clear keys and a Squirtle at the top or something like that, it doesn't look like that. But yeah,
Squirrel.
it looks. Thank you, Jackson. I was really
And if
wishing I could do that, but yeah.
You turn it 90 degrees. Is there a chance
gonna-
it could be an eye?
I'm going to bring you to the full size, and yeah, we're looking at this.
Okay. Oh,
All right.
Wait,
It'll
but if
be
you
an
turn it
eye.
upside down.
It's also an
oh,
H.
thank God. Thank God.
Okay, so yeah, little odd. Don't kiss it. That's a horrible. No, please make a
That's how he does the Vestigia check.
please make a sense Vestigia check for me.
Getting notes of.
Ooh,
Ooh,
not a fumble.
not a fumble. Okay, going through, you like open your senses and you are overwhelmed with a waft of that like sickly smell, and you suddenly feel lightheaded. Something in the back of your mind goes to catalog, and you go, Vestigia is the sensation of feeling sick, the sudden knowledge that you're about to throw up, the I need to get out of here.
All right. Bag it and tag it, doctor, and then I'll scarp it.
Okay, all right, bagged, tagged.
Can we have it, or is that part of it?
These are you are police. You can
Yeah.
request these things. The requisite signatures are put on paperwork.
Assuming they probably want to give it a maybe. Well, I don't know. Would they clean it?
They would,
like
they would do some like additional
Yeah.
procedures, but
Which wouldn't, because metal holds Vestigia separate. Like if you wash a piece of metal, that's not going to wash the Vestigia off because it's actually like embedded in the material itself. Yeah.
The bones.
besides, they would also have relatively, I think, efficient systems for doing this. They probably just wouldn't, put it under a thing and scrub it. They probably immerse it in something that kills every like pathogen that can be linked. And anyway, so with that, you head out of the autopsy room and can move back across. Outside, as I said, it's getting towards night. Barton, you have absolutely nailed your research check that you did before all of this action, and as a result, you're at home. I think that probably you just crash, I would assume. Are you all going to rally tonight, or are we waiting for the next morning?
Tomorrow morning's probably fine, right?
Yep. Right?
Yeah, I think I've been up watching all the tapes. I kind of want to get some snoozing.
I think the only thing that was outstanding for myself and Lucy, other than finishing a room temperature pint, which is the correct way to drink beer in the UK because room temperature is cold, is I wanted to ask the Mudlarks about the box because I have it with me. We brought it specifically as a thing. So if it is possible to bring it out and just kind of either if they I'm not going to offer a lot of information, just like, hey, this is the thing. What do you think of it? If they ask questions, I will lean towards I found it and kind of leave it as a they can assume that I found it doing what they do.
Sure.
But I'm gonna try and not to lie while also not providing direct information.
I understand. Very quickly though, let me ask Lucy. We mentioned that you sort of were going to do a bit of a darting about and potentially also have a good sniff of that box. Is there any? Yeah.
I mean, I think it's actually kind of covered. I think I'm just on plan. I'm if someone makes a break for it, the standard. I think I'm just hanging.
Okay.
I think I'm just
Okay.
big chilling. My nose is kind of passively running, so if something whiffs my way, I'll go and have a look. But I think unless prompted, I'm kind of chilling. I'm looking forward to bed.
Yeah, I understand.
And maybe a bite of the fleeing suspect tomorrow.
Oh, well, always a possibility. But here we go. They have a look at the box. None of them immediately go, "Wow, it's that box I found." They say like, "Yeah, I haven't seen this. Did you find it in the Thames?" Is what they're sort of asking. They kind of go, it's large, so anything that had washed up along any of the foreshores like that would have been scooped up probably pretty quickly. But it looks like a metal tin, so it's not going to be that old probably. And there's like no. It appears to just be a regular container. That said, I will ask you to make, I think, just make a social test for me. You're not trying to get something out of these people at this point. This is for something else. So
can I possibly assist with this? I think I moved quite a few of my points across to a social, so that I can kind of.
I have pet dog for bonus.
I have 60 in social, so I think like I am just amicable, keeping the vibe. Everyone thinks it's cool that there's a dog in the bar.
I like that a lot. Yeah.
Lucy, I have a question for you specifically. Would it have been okay if we had taken your vest off and stored it in my bag just while we're in, so that you do have the vibe of more like a companion or bulldog rather than like a police dog or anything like that?
In Lucy's mind, she's deep undercover.
Yeah.
But
just specifically, if I had gone to like do that, would Lucy have growled or would both fight? Yeah,
no,
cool.
that's okay.
We'll make sure it's snapped back onto you before we go anywhere. But
before I chase down the fleeing suspect.
So make you can add a bonus die and make
we'll do a sneaky roll, and then we'll roll.
Okay.
1d10 for the bonus.
Oh,
exactly the
bonus
same, which
die.
is wild.
I
You
thought
know
it was
what?
a 0.8, but it is.
You know what, Jim? Large yams.
Yep.
Jimothy, my friend. Poor Jim gets all of them.
100 luck.
It's almost midnight.
Yeah.
I got so much luck to burn. Yeah. We'll go, what is that? So my social is 70. So I need to spend 17 points of luck. I currently have 76 points of luck because I start with 80 because it's my power.
Yeah.
So that is going to be, wait, is that right? Hang on. Did I say how many? 17 points of luck, did I say? Yeah, cool.
Which will bring you down to 63.
50.
76
minus 17.
Oh, 76.
No, minus
Sorry,
17, 59.
Tell you what, wait 2 hours and you won't need to do that math.
Exactly.
I mean, I'm going to put it in there just in case something goes to shit in the next, however long, but...
I put on my stat best.
Yeah, so I will spend luck to make that at least a success. Because I, genuinely, and I'm going to... Why I care about this, or why... I think I see things... Actually, how would luck even play into this? I don't know what it is, but I don't want to upset these people. I like them. I think that they are already probably shat on a little by society for doing what they do. I can understand that. I like these people. I want them to not. I think I'm more concerned about upsetting them than I am about not getting information that I need. So that's where I'm leaning into I think I may have upset people. Let's buy a round of drinks, do all that kind of stuff.
I think you're all good. You haven't offended any of them. What you do get though is that a couple of them seem to be kind of interested in not so much why you're asking questions. They don't seem to have connected that you're working with the police or anything like that. But you get the feeling that they're probably going to tell Robert that someone's been asking about him.
Okay.
And with the success, you kind of detect that is on the cards, and that they, like, some of them allude to like having, you know, oh, I've got a few things I need to go and show him and stuff like that. They're not going to rush and do it, so you've got time. But you're acting like, not necessarily you, but just the fact that like there are people asking questions is probably going to filter across to Robert eventually. So this is kind of a notification of a clock.
When they say they've got some things they want to go and show to Robert, do they say that they're going to go and show it to him at his publishing like business, or is it a personal thing that they're going to take to his house? Or do we get the impression one way or the other? Like, is this something he does with his work, or is this something he's doing on the side?
You know, this would be in conjunction with his work. They do not mention a location.
Which,
though.
if he owns his own business, he might just be like chilling. That's fine.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Okay. All right. So given that you're sort of starting to arouse a little bit of suspicion, I imagine you probably make your escape. And would it be safe for me to assume that you all split off, rest, return, and you can rally probably at the Folly the following morning?
Sounds good.
Okay. You dart back home. Lucy, Pudding, you probably leave one more offering as you cross back over the Thames to get to your place. And before long, each of you are at home, rested. PC Lewis only feeling slightly nauseous after everything that happened.
Has Lewis like texted us about what has gone down at the autopsy? Is that something that we'll go over tomorrow morning?
Oh, we can go over it in the morning, I'm sure. Or, you know, I'll probably just go home and put the notes into the system.
Your spreadsheet. Yeah,
in which case, nothing untoward happens throughout the course of the evening. It's a Friday morning now, so you wake up and rally at a reasonable time at the Folly. It seems pretty busy there at the minute. There's clearly some other stuff going on. There's other magic. You're not the only people doing interesting things. But in a side briefing room before long, you can all sit down and start to go over what you've learned.
We do so. Fascinating.
Well, this guy is suspicious as hell, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Patrick. That sounds terrible. That sounds like a bad time.
No. It was a valuable learning experience, and it's something that we'll probably have to do as we go through this line of work. So,
Well,
no, it was
we'll have to
good.
do.
It was a valuable experience. Well, yes, that's right. Just part of the job. Just part of the job.
I will briefly heat up whatever beverage PC Lewis is holding, because warm drinks are the best thing for remembering difficult things. So I'll just be like, just do that. What? So shapeshifters, is that a thing?
Probably. Everything else seems to be.
Librarian.
Webrarian.
Well, okay, so
Oh.
like
Librarian.
I feel like we're
there are
casting
werewolves.
aspersions on librarians because they're generally quite, together people what do good for society, and this guy sounds like a
But
bastard.
they're also terrifying.
Yeah, but they're terrifying in a way of like, I protect me books, like I don't necessarily see a librarian going
Maybe
in and
that's
like busting stuff up. They'd be like, nah, I get my books by, asking nicely but sternly, like my mum.
I guess.
So, there's that.
This Robert Coach character sounds like a real piece of work. I wouldn't
Yeah.
I
put
think
it past him to have maybe exercised other means to get what he wanted.
exercise, not exorcised.
Exercise,
So,
yeah.
yeah, got it.
Yeah.
Sorry, my brain
Deployed.
yes. Rather than evicted. Well, so here's the thing. I think that some of the mudlarks probably are a bit friendly with him, or at least don't hate him as much as the other ones seem to. So I think he's gonna know that someone was asking questions about him. If not already, then pretty soon.
Okay, home or
Um,
work? We've got both addresses now, so
I mean, I feel like here's the thing, right? I got a weird box. I was asking questions. If he knows that people are asking questions and then someone rocks up with a weird box and goes, "Hey, I was told you were the person I come to talk to about this kind of stuff. Do you want to buy it?" That at least assuages potentially some of the concerns what he might have. And
If he was
then,
already looking for this box, then that
well,
just shows that we went to Marsha's
I
apartment.
mean,
right?
maybe, or just if he goes, "How'd you come upon it?" I go, "I found it in a trash, in a
Puddle.
garbage bin or whatever."
the side of the
In
river.
Also, it doesn't exactly seem like a particularly unique box. I'm sure there's, possibly other things that are relatively similar to it. So going up and being like, "I found it in my mum's garage." I don't know. It was lying around. I found it. Was having a chat to some people who find weird things and sell them, and had heard your name come up. Where? I don't know.
Jim, have we
I-
already looked up this coach guy on the PNC, Police
Uh,
National Computer?
yeah, you've done some basic research in him on him rather.
That's right.
You-
No, you did say
You've found
he's had some brushes.
Had some brushes with the law. Runs a business. Not grand criminal. Like you're not looking up this person and finding. Yeah. They're just
guy.
Yeah, they're just a person. You do additional research online and stuff like that because that would be part of the standard stuff. That they do have an online presence as a publisher, like a basically
right.
sort of indie publishing kind of stuff. A lot of like
From
selection
Stuff.
focused.
What are we talking?
Yeah, what kind of stuff would they publish?
How much steam?
How much steam?
Yeah, how steamy is the material, James?
Oh, sorry, I had misunderstood completely.
Did you think we were talking about the game public?
No, I was like, I thought it was like, does this publish steampunk material? And I was like, what? No.
I also love that
also
this is
curious
just a
about
little aside into Dave's fascination with like romance novels. Clearly,
It's
and getting and more my fascination with getting Jamie to describe her.
it's
steamy.
it seems pretty particularly innocuous. They're the closest would be like there's a lot of niche kind of like translations of collectors stuff. So there would be potentially like if it was a romance novel, it would be like a Spanish telenovela or like a Japanese kind of anime thing that had come down and had been translated and was being published and disseminated in England under this person's.
Oh my god, my brain is stuck on a book that I will not name on stream because I'll get myself in trouble. But what is Marx's work called? Like the OG Communist Manifesto. Wouldn't that would it be that? Thank you, Das Kapital. Yeah. My brain got stuck on a different German sounding word. A German sounding book. So yeah.
The other one.
The other one. Das Kapital. Is that the kind of thing? Or when you say collectors, are you talking more about like classic works or just like random things that are, as you said, Spanish romance novels translated into English?
It's more, it leans pop culture, really. Like more like they would probably be like actually, I'll tell you what,
English translations of manga?
Yeah, genuinely.
I'm
really
cool.
neat. Or probably the steam is I imagine there would be
print.
some like Victorian old playing cards that had like the faintest of 19th century appropriate boudoir photos or whatever that had been redistributed or reprinted. It's that kind of stuff. It's very.
I'm getting the sense that he might be one of those like entrepreneurs who are just scanning the Amazon bestseller lists in each country and going, that's selling well. Let's get that licensed and translated.
And
is
we'll
that
print it.
more of the thing that we're talking about?
I mean, I'll tell you what. At this point, you're kind of flexing your research a little bit.
I'll make a
Yeah,
QR.
we're
Let's get a research roll. I think going.
I also, and just as we're doing, my proposal is we do our classic split, especially if they're nearby. And if he's at the house, then he's not at the work. If he's at the work, he's not at the house. We can check one of them.
Mm-hmm.
We can have a little B&A, and then the other one we can talk to him at, and just whichever team gets whichever one would be good.
Oh, if we're going to engage with a potential practitioner here, then we do need as many hands on deck as we can.
Okay. And then my other thought, Jim, was just quickly is, has there been any more evidence of bad vibes in the last day or so since we've checked in? Like, if we talk to Nightingale, the other ones that are around, is this continuing? Are they like, yeah, no? Because like you mentioned, everyone's doing their own wizard investigations. Are they still looking into bad vibes?
Is my mum still cranky?
Yeah.
You haven't followed up. Would you?
I mean,
you
oh
do.
yeah, because I don't live
will
at home.
We will assume that you split and you start to check here at this point. So why don't we say if you decide to call in home pudding, which means that you won't be able to help with the research roll. PC Lewis, if you want to make a research roll. Not good at that anyway.
I get distracted very easily.
Button, you could go
I'm pretty good at research, so I might help with the research roll.
Or you could go and speak to Nightingale and try and get that kind of information.
Yeah, that's probably a better use of my time. I'll kind of just trundle.
As
whether
to
or not
whether
they're still having bad vibes problems.
Well, yeah, that was kind of my job, was to see if Father Thames is making any more waves in the city. I don't know how I do that. I don't want to go straight back to Nightingale and just ask, because this was my job.
Well, that's why I'm going to go ask, because it's not my job. Like,
what about that little dweeb, like the people that we worked with the last mystery? Like, there's other people that work here. Just see if they, like, the people that take the calls and get the mysteries and whatever. See if they've detected more bad vibes.
That's true. All right, that's probably what I'll do. I'll check in with any of the other constables around.
Okay.
And just see if they've heard anything about.
Do a research roll.
You can do a research roll on Coach. Okay, fantastic. Yeah.
And I'll go terrorize Toby.
All right, sounds good. I will request a. Pudding. You can make a read person actually speaking to your parents. I think is probably accurate.
Lucy, do you have anything specific that you're doing other than terrorizing Toby?
No, but I'm pretty set on it. So let me know.
Oh, yeah. I was just gonna say, do you want to come meet my mum's? One of them's really, really, really good cook, and we'll probably give you a lot of table scraps.
Are we going there? I think we're going. We're going to the publisher. Can you just give them a call, or do they not big?
I thought we was because folks are doing research. That'll take them a little while. So while they're doing that, I'm going off to speak to my mum, or am I calling?
Going to probably do a visit would be like a half-day thing. You could.
Okay, cool. Yeah, in that case, I'll call. Yeah, sorry. My distances, timings, all good. Good.
I think that's also a very pudding thing. Like, you probably go to leave and then Button or Lucy was like, wait a minute, what are you doing?
No. I want to be clear. Take a minute. That isn't a pudding thing. That's an arts thing coming through with no sense of time. Truly no idea how long things take. It's either the whole day or no time at all.
Yeah.
No in between. Cool. I'll give him a call. Question, Jim, can I get a bonus dice on reading my parents specifically? I'm not good at read person generally, but I have spent my entire life with these people.
I'm happy with that, and happy given sort of the last conversation that you had with them when a couple of episodes ago.
Probably not going to help. My read person is terrible, but
read person, and then I think just a social roll from you, PC Lewis, a research roll from you, Barton, and a fighting roll from you.
On it.
And could I argue law to pull my rank around
here?
Such that it is.
Totally happy with that.
I'm actually still a police constable, the lowest rank, but I've got a magic score of 80, so I'm hoping that people just totally assume I'm a little bit higher up in the folly.
I'm going to lock that one into a success.
Okay, perfect.
I am not locking mine into a success.
63 over 60.
Too high.
So, luckity doodles.
Bang on, a half success.
Luckily, it's not a fumble, because I rolled the 99, and then I rolled the 7, so thank goodness. Do not succeed, did not do well.
Calling them up, you have a couple of tense chats with both your both your mums, and you are not sure whether they are doing like that. Yes, it's fine, kind of as a point. And like kind of you've shut back down again, and you as you explained last time, you're used to sort of having these like little blow-ups in your family.
Specifically with my mum Alice.
Yes.
Who is the one who I would be asking, and if I don't get through to her, then I would probably call my other mum, who is much calmer, but probably would in this situation be like, "Don't worry about it, honey. It's like it's not a thing you need to stress about."
And you're like, but I am.
Yeah,
Just
but I
give me
have
the-
to.
I am stressing more if you don't talk to me.
If it's still present, it is riding underneath the surface of everything, right? You're not.
I did have a question specifically for my mums, though, that is
Sure.
unrelated to reading them as people,
Sure, yeah, please.
which was just shapeshifters. Yay, nay? Do they exist in our scheme,
No, no.
our world? Would they fall under the like? Are some demimon like? Do their skills lean towards shapeshifting, or is that like its own thing?
There are both demimond beings capable of shapeshifting, as well as practitioners who are capable of developing similar stuff. So yes, shapeshifting is a thing. But it is a wide thing.
Cool. So not
yes,
specific
no.
to the demimond. It's a That's all I was trying to work out, was whether we were dealing specifically with people from my mum's, well, one of my mum's side of the track, or the other one of my mum's side of the track.
Unfortunately, not able to narrow down information beyond that. PC Lewis, just off a hard success.
Yes, hard success. Just seeing if there've been any reports about activity in and around the river.
How
Because
exactly
we're concerned
a hard success?
about, yes, Father Thames.
Are you just short of
Getting in
one, or
here.
are you on a hard success? Sorry.
Oh, right on it.
Right
On it.
Okay,
Bang
perfect. Okay, so
Bosh.
yeah, easy. Couple of things then. Yes, absolutely. There are still reports of tensions brewing, as well as
heck.
people worrying that things are beginning to escalate. They have you looking into things to see if you can figure out what the source of this. But they've also been kind of doing mild peacekeeping efforts with the higher ups, people like Peter Grant visiting and trying to kind of like placate tempers. And apparently that has not gone so well. Everyone seems a bit cross. Speaking to the lower level people with a hard success, you also realize that there's a couple of the attendants who have been following up on all kinds of details like around the Thames and like reoccurrences of like police reports. And they're terrified that they're going to get a police report of something more serious happening. They have got a massive influx of dogs being stolen, and they are convinced that
What?
Well,
Oh, wait.
yeah,
Yeah, I remember that.
yeah, and so they're getting an influx of missing dogs being reported, and are convinced that it's possible that some elements of the Demimon might be behind that.
Hmm.
Yeah,
That sounds like a way more important mystery.
exactly.
What are we doing?
I think that's probably. I don't think I'm going to give you any more free information beyond that. I was just thinking if you might
Okay.
hit some other parts, but that's it.
Yeah, I think my strategy is going to be then if the police still trying to outreach with the Rivers Mama Thames family, might be inclined to try to intercept where someone from Father Thames' side might be going to visit next.
Absolutely.
I don't know if there's anything to point me towards that direction yet, but that's what I'll keep my eye out for.
Old Man River?
The Old Man River, yeah.
Man.
The Old Man of the River,
River.
is another nickname for Father Thames.
You absolutely can start to look into that, but I'll get you to we'll resolve that role briefly, because that might involve you doing kind of more additional research or committing to it.
That's
First
fine.
of all, jumping across to Barton, your research role was a 63. How'd you go? Just failed.
So I lucked it.
All right, fantastic. So luck landing through, you dive in and you have as best of a look at Coach's history as you possibly can. He's been around for a while. So as to this, like, scan the bestseller lists of Amazon, it doesn't really seem like that. The first mention that you get is that he was involved in a big exhibition at the Tate about 20 years ago called Offset, which was like a celebration of printed media as art. And basically this guy seems to be, we were talking about stop motion earlier, in the same way that there's sort of like a love for stop motion in animation, even though modern techniques are being developed that do very similar things quicker, and stuff like that. There are people who love stop motion. He is interested in traditional printing methods and stuff like that.
And
All
anime.
kinds
There
of
was there was an exhibition about this in the state library like a couple of years ago. So there absolutely are still exhibitions
still
happening where people are like,
happens.
hey, let's celebrate the art
Traditional
of bookmaking
printing
and
and
printing.
binding and yeah.
and
So
and
cool.
you find that Coach is in that world. You find enough evidence of him,
You're
popping
making
up
sympathetic.
across
Get him.
across several decades of being involved. There's all kinds of like material that you spot online.
Okay.
So it doesn't feel particularly opportunistic.
Okay,
as much
okay,
as somebody
hang
who is
on.
truly passionate about this stuff.
Yeah, so the cube that was pulled out of the ear is like a traditional typesetting key or something, maybe?
With that thought in mind, a quick Google image search will discover that yes, it does appear to be a traditional typesetting print press piece. So it's something that would be
Cool.
installed in a larger machine, probably from the Victorian era.
And is that
Can
like
I find
Well, we got him.
it's like a super typewriter, right? Like just really big. Is that what it kind of is?
Yeah, well, it's a typesetting like what they used to do newspapers on
Printing press.
Yeah, printing presses.
Yeah.
Still a lot of them do newspapers on it because it's
This is- yeah,
fast printing, but you have to physically take the individual keys onto like a roller, and it
yes.
Yeah,
and
You
things
also have
like-
to put
do
them
the
in
words, you have
back
to put
to
them in
front.
order. And,
Yeah,
they
so you have to
flipped.
go like,
So
you know,
hence the H is a good one for us to find
D,
because
V.
you can't tell if it's back to front.
And here's
Great
here's a
idea.
fun fact: you would have to sort. You have these huge like cases, boxes of all the letters, and
Yeah.
you have heaps of letters, and obviously you'd have the capital letters and the small letters, and whenever you were like putting them back in your box, you would put the capital letters in the upper case, and you'd put the small
Uppercase,
letters
lowercase.
in the lowercase. That is true. Look that up.
Yeah,
That's
that's where a
awesome.
lot of those terms just come from the original way that we printed things. Yeah.
Huh. And he's using his powers for evil.
Yeah.
That is translating
But
manga.
it's a pretty good way to potentially get him out of the woodwork, and get him to be somewhere that we want him to be.
Also-
if he's at home or if he's at work, it doesn't really matter because we
Maybe
can just
he's
kind of
not
go to his
the bad
workplace and be
guy.
like, hey, we've got some letters that look like this. Maybe Photoshop a different letter onto a picture of the key that we found, and be like, hey, we found a couple of these
Oh,
in
yeah,
the
we've got
river.
a
Do you want
rare
At this point,
emoji.
Beta?
also start to get some so you find that the biggest sort of repository of this kind of information is a group called the Stationers Company. And we had all kinds of interesting information about stationery the other day.
We
I
did.
believe.
The stores that did not move in the market. They were
Exactly.
stationary.
So, but yeah, the Stationers Company will have all this kind of information, and yes, that's your point, Dave. Think like big sort of printing press level stuff. Typewriter was the wrong word, but this is a key from like an old printing press, basically.
Yeah, cool.
I have a question, Jim.
Yes.
You said that this guy was involved in like this exhibition 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
How old does this guy look?
He's middle aged. The timeline for the offset exhibition works well.
Okay, cool.
What
So
am I asking?
where there's nothing obviously like this person still looks like they're in their 20s, but they were around, we know at least 20 years
No,
ago
no.
as an adult kind of
We
deal.
know
Yeah.
he was around in the 15th century at the invention of the printing press.
I mean, you know some people who have sort of timeless qualities about them, be they from the demimonde or even practitioners who are able to sort of like look much younger.
Or
than
just
they
people
appear.
with really good genetics.
That too. Robert is probably in his mid to late 40s and looks it. That said, he's a. And you saw this.
That's a burn. And looks it like.
Wow.
oof.
Just appropriately. That said,
I
actually,
get him.
probably looks a bit younger than he is. I should say he is very well built. This guy, like he's quite.
Oof.
You may remember that he was conflated for a thug at one point
Right,
when
yeah.
he visited
He's
Marshes.
Big fit as opposed to big.
Yeah, it's
Old man.
It's a little bit of the Barton quality, where Barton is also built like a.
I'm just
trunk.
big.
Yeah,
But like you don't look at Barton and think, Doug, or like this guy's gonna roll me, you think it's more like a Baymax vibe.
It's a big
There you go.
It's the difference between traditional Thor and Thor from the movies.
Yeah.
You get a man
Yeah.
who looks like he could wrestle a bear, and a dude who's jacked and looks like, is ripped. Like
Yeah.
weightlifter versus like
Just a big old dude.
bodybuilder, essentially.
Just a large old dude who probably played rugby for a while.
No, perfect. So that's what. So yeah, you can confirm that absolutely that does look like it's a key.
Typesetting key, yeah.
Good thought.
Good. Yeah, because with them, I'm gonna kind of posit that to our detective. Once I see him next, is that maybe we can Photoshop some other letters onto something and send him a picture and be like, hey, meet you at your shop in 3 hours and come by these office, and basically just make sure he is where we want him to be rather than trying to split up and cover 2 different bases.
He's probably one of the few people that would really appreciate one of those creepy serial killer notes where we chop out all the individual letters and send them. He'd be like, wow, this is just fantastic.
So thoughtful. Thank
This is
you.
my shit.
Thank you so much.
I'm trying to, like, in my brain now, and I know this probably isn't what happened, but in my brain, we just have someone who, like, just, like, shot a stream of typesetting letters like it was a jet of water into someone, and one of them just stuck.
I mean, it got in there somehow.
It's a working theory.
Are we dealing with a Magneto? I feel
is it
like we might be dealing with a
a
Magneto.
sentient. What if it's like a
Magneto.
sentient printing press? It's a sentient printing press. That's what I'm going with.
Okay, yeah. Num.
Okay, so what's next? If you wanted to dive deeper into research, you could. Oh, I'm so sorry, Lucy, Toby.
Yeah, I rolled an extreme.
Okay.
Got it.
Uh,
We're up, dog.
Excellent.
Toby is eaten.
you
Put me in the novels, Ben.
the bully dog.
What's up? Just mid.
I mean, the
Book
question is
14,
really...
there is a immediate switch whereby a German Shepherd devours fan favorite Beagle or whatever it is, and goes on to just be an asshole for the rest of the run. Books went really downhill.
I think this is going to really depend on how much Molly likes Toby, because I feel like if Molly's like,
Yeah.
stop
Oh,
that,
Molly
you don't
is
really
a Toby
get...
fan.
Molly's a
Well,
huge
and I
Toby
think-
fan.
yeah.
Molly's a massive Toby
Just
fan.
every time there's downtime, I don't have anything to do, I'm gonna fight canon characters. So this one was for Molly.
Okie dokie. We just walk into the living room, and when like you've just walked in on 2 animals play fighting, and one of them has the other in like mid suplex, and you can
is
see
wearing
in
a
the other one's
bulletproof
eyes that it's like, this is not a game anymore.
Something's about to go
Pack
down.
dynamic.
He's like tail wagging. It's like, this is a game.
Yeah.
This is great. Look how good this is.
So, what's
Toby's eyes screaming for help.
next? But noting that you have that key, you have the box, just some other clues you can follow up on Coach. You can go to either Coach Publishing or towards where you know Coach's house is.
I
Friday
like.
during business hours.
Stationer's Company.
I really like Barton's plan. I think we should make
Out of
contact.
interest,
Flush him
what
out.
would we be getting from the Stationer's Company again, Jim? Sorry.
That's if you wanted to dive more into the history of like typesetting and stuff like that. Like ask about these keys specifically.
I mean, he does.
Somebody's dead. We kind of
If
need
he
to.
did kill for this in a
Yeah.
supernatural way, like he lampreyed the guy. Actually, that's a bit hole punchy. Maybe we just say hole punchy. Maybe it is like the super typewriter thing, like it would and popped
Yeah,
out
maybe.
his
But
S for sternum.
he is a humanly or a physical, possibly not human, but a individual who may have committed this crime, which is murder. So we probably need to at least get him locked down pretty quickly, whether it's as a suspect or if it turns out that he's a potential victim. Like, we don't know what his role in it is.
We are
but
getting
people are still in
fairly.
danger.
We're getting fairly close, I think, to having probable cause here. I mean, he was seen on CCTV at the scene of the crime on multiple occasions, I believe.
Yes, visiting prior to and then visiting night of.
And
We know
to
that-
run
we
out
know
of
that he's involved.
hypothetical-
So
Knowing that he's
can we
involved in
just get
typesetting?
a-
We found this type key
You
at
know
the
that they were
scene.
business partners in some way because they were both
Yeah.
involved in the Mudlark sort of stuff.
Putting together a tentative timeline, right? So they've worked before previously, and Coach has said, I'm interested in all things metal and whatever. So maybe he was looking for whatever these are already. Then Marsh finds it, arranges a meeting, doesn't like the deal that's made and refuses. Coach then comes back, hides, avoids cameras a few days later, kills him, empties the box of all the keys, but misses one that was used in the
Yeah.
attack, maybe? The box was hidden, Jim, or we found it, like it was just discarded, or what was the circumstance of the box?
It had been discarded,
Okay.
as if someone had opened it,
Taken
removed the
everything.
contents, and then just dropped it and left.
Taking
maybe a
out
little
the
velvet bag or
uppercase
something.
H's.
Yeah.
I'm
So he's-
confident we have probable cause for arrest here. I think we set up the
I
meeting
think we're
with
missing
that
something.
pretense.
But like I think we have probable cause for like arrest, or at least like, you know, arrest for questioning. Someone coming, like the exchange of like, I have something you want, great, I'm gonna take this, does not explain the missing books. Like that makes it sound like this
Yes.
person had
he
more.
might-
Well,
Well, he was
So,
looking
like-
for these.
we got the sense that there was something missing from the bookshelf.
Yeah, there was
Yeah.
something specific, like
But
a
because
book
it's
missing.
taken, we don't know if it was a book. It was just on the bookshelf.
Could it have
could
been
have
what
been-
this is? That this
Could have
case, that doesn't
been
quite
more
fit, right?
cases.
I said might be more. The other thing, my main concern with issuing the arrest and confronting is this man seems to have the ability to bear punch your chest out. So a little more like scouting and research might not go amiss, just so that we don't get bear sternumed.
But if he's out there bear sterning people, that's a
Yes,
tough
that
one.
is
Also,
also good.
I'm pretty sure like
he
if
bear
we
sterning
go
someone else.
if we go, hello, we would like you to come in for questioning, please, and he goes full, I'm a bear sternum punch you. Like
Yeah.
that is a very big, very obvious thing that he has done that is magical, that like it's I feel like a lot of people who do that want to keep that under wraps. Like it's a thing that you don't necessarily want to wander around being like, I can do magic because you
Yeah.
I think we set up the meeting as Barton suggested. Maybe Barton, we send you in with a wire of some kind, so
I
we
am
can listen
not
in.
great
But
with people.
I am.
well, yes, Pudding, if you could play the part of a mudlark convincingly.
I can
I
hang
think
it.
you probably could.
I'm pretty quiet on my
We
feet. I
can-
know I don't look like I should be, but I'm pretty quiet on my
We
feet.
can-
and
we
I'm
can-
pretty good at
We can
be in the
keeping
way.
my eye out.
we can scruffy me up too as the mudlarking dog. Like I'll just look like I am literally like a street dog. Like I'll just resume persona, and I can probably go in with Pudding as
Fantastic.
defense plan B. And we can have you guys nearby in the van with the headphones on, listening
That's
to
it.
everything,
I can
and ready
probably
to
get
wizard your way in.
pretty close as just a dude walking along the street.
Well,
Like,
we want
I'm
you
pretty quiet
taking
and very
photos
observant.
and we want you taking photos to get evidence. So maybe
Yeah.
you look in the windows and things.
Yeah, I
This
mean,
is
I
sick.
can.
This
I
is
think
an
just going
actual-
like, hey, you know, making some kind of contact, saying, hey, I was put, you know, I heard your name and was put in contact with you for selling, like, for having a look at metal stuff.
Mm.
I
And we've
found
got some
something. Would you be
typesetting
interested in
tools.
taking a look at it?
We could even
Let's do
go
it.
through some of the mudlarks you met, like arrange it legitimately.
And
Like say, hey, can you get me in touch with Coach, and we'll go through that way.
speaking of legitimacy, and one last thing, you were talking about probable cause. This is where you may want to do something like get a warrant, because that's
Yeah.
that. Like, you may, you know, I
And visit the armory.
have
Not necessarily in that order.
I have a lovely subheading called a spot of B&E if you decide not
Oh,
to. But
yes, Jim.
you know, don't worry. You're
I feel like we should have a warrant ready to go if things go
Yeah.
tits
Deeply
up.
pear-shaped. Yeah.
And
Wh-
because then we can turn the like you're under arrest thing on immediately. Whereas if we don't have a warrant, we can't necessarily do that.
Oh, we
So I
can
think-
arrest him, but I don't know Jackson doesn't know what the idea is. I mean,
It's
once
more
you've
for
arrested
searching.
something,
They have to
surely it's pretty
search.
easy
Oh yeah,
to be able
warrant
to
is for
search their.
searching.
Search their stuff.
There is an awesome scene. I'm remembering like later seasons of The Wire. There's one where they need to get the evidence to like get the warrant as they're doing everything, and I think it's like you need the judge signature towards the end. So it's like we draft everything. We're gonna need to get a judge to approve it, so that we can like start heading towards it, and then
Yeah.
someone can go and get the last signature. And then once we've got that, it's like, all right, you've got 2 hours.
don't-
Because warrants are limited. They're only for a very brief period, with a lot of restrictions around them too, is my understanding. So like we will need to fulfill all the criteria of it.
There's also a fantastic scene in Rivers of London where, in cases of emergency, there is a ghost who is a magistrate, a former magistrate,
Oh.
who will sign
Wait.
warrants
If
for
we
would
unusual
just sign
things.
stuff.
Ghost Magistrate,
We have-
I'm going to scream.
I made a point of keeping in touch with Eileen from the
Oh,
ghosts. So
yeah.
maybe
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like it's definitely the hey, you're a ghost. All ghosts know each other,
Yeah.
right?
Do you
Like,
know- do you know-
we
do you know
know,
Steve?
we
Yeah.
know where this ghost magistrate is. This ghost magistrate works for like with the Folly
He's
quite
lived on
often.
Folly,
I don't give a fuck about this publisher guy. Let's go see the Ghost Magistrate.
I,
I am
I
pivoting
think that was
hard.
like, wasn't that to like get something to
That
like
typically that's
go
for,
after another ghost though? I think that was the idea.
Typically,
Can't
that
remember.
is when
Shut
you
up,
need
Jackson.
to get warrants for like overtly magical stuff. If you just said,
Yeah.
"Hey, we have video footage of someone's business partner coming, threatening them, then coming the day before they were murdered," you could just go to any magistrate.
Like that's a pretty clear-cut case of like this guy showed up dead.
Regardless-
this guy's his
Could-
business
You
partner and
guys
showed
want
up
to see a
right before
spell?
he
I
showed
can
up dead.
I can turn a regular magistrate into a ghost.
You could also deliberately just decide to give less evidence that you have to make your case more complicated, so you're forced to go to the ghost magistrate.
Ah, damn.
I was just gonna say,
I-
we don't need a warrant to arrest this guy. We just need a
No.
warrant to search
But
his
if
place.
we want to search, if we want to be able to say we are coming in to search,
And again, if you want to
would
legally
be nice.
be able to search.
and I'm fine with not doing it legally, personally.
Well,
I'm-
yeah, you can't get arrested.
Can't arrest a dog. That's
Yeah.
the law.
It's
I
like
think,
it's the Air Bud exception. You can do anything.
I think the fact that we're trying to do
Yeah,
the sneaky like means that having a warrant to search his place, if we decide to arrest him at that point for some reason, is a good thing to have on hand. If we're just doing it sneaky like and only planning to arrest him if things go pear-shaped, then a warrant is moderately irrelevant at this point. I don't think it's bad to have. I don't think we need it if it's going to take time.
I'm gonna set up the sting operational equipment we need, and if we got time, to get the warrant started as
For a
well.
little law.
Yeah, like I can start drafting it. Like I can help you out and like there's templates for these things. I can start getting it all together in case we need to
form.
quickly get a signature and go.
Well, do you want to get to the sting side together, and I'll get the warrant side together.
Yeah, that's probably better because
Let's do that.
Okay. Fantastic. So,
And Pudding, you're going to make contact with him with the bait.
Yeah, I will either make contact, like, if I have an avenue to make like direct contact, I'll do it that way. If I don't
his
yet
business
have that
address?
information, then I will like reach out to some of the mudlarks if I can't, like go and see if any of them are hanging around the pub at lunch.
Yeah.
publicly listed business, right?
Yeah, we've got his business.
It's a
Very
publicly
dry.
listed
Through the
one.
It's just
mudlark
whether or
thing
not
would
it's,
let
like-
us be like that's how we can be scruffy and everything. I think doing it
Yeah,
isn't a bad
I mean, I
idea.
think regardless, I'm gonna allow him to believe that that's the group that I am with or like associated with. But whether I go directly through one of them or whether we just get information and make contact, doesn't matter. Jim, I would like to make contact with this man and tell him I have a metal box and ask if he's interested and can I like.
sure.
I think
Sure.
the box was discarded, so if that was him, he knows about it and he's already decided it was
It's more that
trash.
We were going to say you've got more keys. You
Yeah,
found-
or
No,
a
no,
different-
I don't.
the
I
box,
don't want to
he's thrown the
assume
box
that.
away.
I know, but
He's not gonna want
the
it.
point is that he doesn't know that we know that. I have a thing made of metal that I want to go talk to him about. I am pretending I know nothing.
Yeah, okay.
So
Maybe
I
say it
don't-
looks like
Maybe
it's
they can watch
something from a printing to do with printing because that's his special area of interest. We
I
want
mean,
him to not
again,
schedule the interview or schedule the meeting for tomorrow. We want him to be like desperate to do this right now.
I suspect if he's been told that someone's asking about him, he'll schedule the meeting out of like, this is now it's weird that someone's reached out to me. I want to know what this is about and I don't trust you. Like I am happily leaning on the fact that this looks dodgy and I kind of want him to go, this seems dodgy. I want to sort this out.
There's some things I understand your intention, but as you start to go into this, there are precipitating factors that may alter stuff. So let me spread us out a little bit. But first of all, Lucy, I want to talk about what you're doing as the others go onto sort of another research burst. There's only so much Toby can take. Please,
Yeah, and
you've also after you.
So I would like to try my luck and open an expert skill.
Oh.
Disguise is an expert skill, and its base is in
yes.
Dex, which I have 80 in, so I'm
That
actually
Hell
pretty good
yeah.
at it.
is
So I think
Hell
I
awesome.
go out and I'm just rolling in mud.
I mean, genuinely,
Amazing.
you looking like either a street
Street
dog,
dog, yeah.
or also
A
like a
beagle.
guard dog. Like I love that. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think
You're
that's
trying
fine.
to
And then I'll be
replace
able to-
Toby.
I think this is because I'm like reasonably social. I think this will if I manage to open it. This is
Yeah.
me being able to like pass as like chill dog, evil dog, whatever else.
that is
so-
awesome.
Show dog.
Yeah, show dog.
Please.
Oh my god.
Only when you write.
I'm a
it,
poodle.
it's
So
awesome.
all right. So
I'm going through it. So
French.
blah blah, trying your luck, expert skill required, yada yada yada. No one has disguise, right?
Nope.
So I can spend 10 luck points, right, Jim?
Yep.
And then I roll for half my value, which would be Dex.
mhm.
And then if I fail, I can spend luck. And if I spend the luck into a success, I then also have to buy it with the other 10. So I
Yes.
can
Yeah.
do it. Yeah, okay. Am I allowed to be everyone's doing stuff? Yeah, I'm just gonna roll. All right, I'm gonna go for Dex.
Can you do it proactively, or does it need to happen like when the skill check comes up? Like you can roll around in mud, but
I'm-
a disguise.
I'm happy for you.
think it's coming up.
I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
yeah.
I actually genuinely don't think I have something else that would. I have stealth, but like I think this is disguise. And
I
No,
think it
I,
is.
I like it. Yeah.
okay, so I would need to spend 26 points, and then a further. Sorry, I spend 10 to shit. How much luck do I have? I'm burning everything, by the way. I don't care. I'm getting.
That's
You
great.
spend
Well,
10 to
I want you to be disguised.
10 to
dog.
attempt
I'm down
it.
to, so hang on. I'm down to I had 59. I'm down to 49 to just do this. I then need to spend another 26 and then another 10. I have 13 luck remaining, but I have disguise. Yay.
Disguise at 40, yeah? It
Uh,
starts at half it starts at whatever the half value is, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, because I started my
Yeah.
occult at 35, I think.
Yeah, and I
Yep.
started history at 35.
Oh yeah, okay. I'm adding disguise to my sheet. And my understanding is
Brilliant.
also like I have succeeded, and this was also my attempt to disguise. So I'm also successfully disguised as sort of muddy street
Yeah,
dog. Like, I don't
you are giving big street dog energy. No one is going to pick that you are a guard dog in the same way. Or guard, yeah.
Cop.
Exactly. No, that's perfect.
Is it too far to? I imagine I'm not wearing my stab vest, unless we can make part of the disguise like I carry the mudlarking gear, like the stab vest is under like some bags and things to
You
have
have, like, a camouflage one?
magnet and some rope and all the shit that I carry.
I would say that given that usually you trying to impersonate a different kind of dog would fall under the like auspices of a social role, and this does represent you trying to sort of unlock a greater ability to do that. I think that it is fair that you're used like to say yes, you can. You are disguised. You are yourself, but you have hidden the fact that you are.
Thank
yeah.
you. Awesome.
We've got a little, what is the like the saddlebags? We've essentially just got like a couple little saddlebags with like various things. Because apparently Pudding needs an emotional support mudlark dog.
Don't we all?
Who doesn't?
So that's good, right? Following around, let's start with PC Lewis next. What pitch are you formally making in terms of trying to set up the legal aspect of it? And we cannot hear you currently, Jackson.
Sorry. Clearly, he's a person of interest, clearly related
Yeah.
to the case, been to the scene of the crime multiple times, knew the victim, and involved in printing presses professionally, which was also, found at the scene of the crime. He's a very strongly a person of interest.
Totally. And what are you asking for a warrant for specifically? Because that's just more like that.
Search his home and business, I imagine.
Sure.
That's all we need to do.
So,
But also, he's probably going to get himself arrested if he makes some poor choices when we see him.
I'll ask you to make a law roll at this point because I think this is absolutely fair. Not so great.
The 6 points of luck will make it happen.
The
That'll
6
do it.
points of luck will make it happen. Okay, so if you had failed, you probably would have gotten a warrant, but it would have been at a stretched timeline, not necessarily particularly useful. So with a regular success, you can absolutely have a warrant and it will be sufficiently expedited for either the home or the business.
Good question. What's the business? Is it just like an office, or is he have the printing press stuff there?
You have done a little bit of research on the two areas just to know
Yeah.
approximately what they are. The home is part of an apartment block, a little bit out of London. The business is a little more central, it's in the middle city, but kind of tucked away in sort of one of those between points of the sort of big squares and circuses, which I still think is a fantastic name for
Tell you what.
all the busy places.
Whichever one is closer to the crime scene. And I imagine it sounds like that's the business.
That would be the business, absolutely.
Yeah, let's go with that one.
Okay, fantastic. A warrant will be provided for that. You produce the legal authority needed to conduct a search. Is there anything else you want to add to this before we move on?
No, that's all good.
Okay.
Let's move on. I want to get this thing started.
So,
I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm gonna make sure that we have a van-like vehicle that'll fit all of us. That is nondescript, maybe even has local business name on it or something. The usual.
Well, once the Follies repertoire of vehicles, which are all weird kind of sports cars, are not going to be helpful here. You have to actually go and get a that's something that you're able to requisition. I think it's
The Folly Garage also, of course, has the most haunted car in Britain.
It does. It's terrifying, and I don't like going anywhere near it. Hate that thing. It sucks. Nice car. Don't go anywhere near it.
Would you like to give us the details, either of you? Jackson tends to be the person I throw to for lore points.
I just remember that phrase. I don't remember the full story. It's one of the graphic novels, one of the comics, and then it just kind of comes up every time. The Folly Garage is mentored.
The car
like
that killed people.
So I parked next to the most haunted car in Britain.
Yeah, it's
the car that apparently killed people.
It's a bit like that.
It's like a Bentley or something. It's a nice car.
So yeah, but I'm in exactly the same boat as you, Jackson. I'm like, I see that line all the time. I haven't read a lot of the supporting short stories, so I'm dry on that one. But
I suspect I will treat that car like I do magpies, from a distance and be very polite.
Always a good plan. You can get the van. That probably won't take you particularly long.
No, and then it'll also be just getting my photography stuff together, making sure I've got long lens, all of that good stuff.
Sure.
Dress myself as far down as possible, make myself the everyman on the street, just some dude. And what I will probably do is leave the van there for the gang.
Yeah.
And I will probably do a quick, probably get there a bit earlier myself, and kind of scope out a spot where I can hang out near the place of business, whether there's a coffee shop nearby or that sort of thing, and just get myself situated in a way that I'm not some random guy who's just showing up. I'm someone who's in the neighborhood.
Can I get you to make an observation check?
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, that's a very good one. That was below half, so
Below half.
25 under 30. Yeah.
Okay. So you notice two things. First of all, regular success. The office itself is they're basically along sort of one of the busy main streets. There is a metal grate over an archway, a gate rather, that leads down into a little sort of drive-in alley that accesses a bunch of different like apartments and stuff like that. And the office is accessed via one of these. However, there is a front signage that goes onto the main street. Very nondescript. The front signage is closed. And you see, nothing just beyond it. It's not currently open. After staying for a little while, though, you spot that it doesn't seem to reveal any sign of being occupied. So that was a bit of a vague way to say that. All of the other buildings around have like air conditioning units and stuff and lights and systems that come on automatically, regardless of whether people are inside or not. Watching this, you wonder if it might be abandoned for a brief moment. However, all the frontage is still there, everything like that. With a hard success, at one point, you notice two relatively badly nondescript disguised folks, the kind of like sort of, didn't make it into the pro leagues for football, so have taken up some light thuggery.
Gotcha.
Pass by at one point, hang around for a minute or two, and then leave. This is just from your vantage point. So whether they are looking for or on behalf of Coach, you're not entirely sure. But there's people around.
He's gone to great pains to make this place abandoned. Like it seems like it's people know it's here. Is there a side or a back alleyway? Does it back onto like an alleyway back street?
That behind that grate, you come in there. That's the alleyway, but you have to go in through the main area to get to it. So all the service stuff, you'd have to go right in there.
No other entry except for the very front one.
The very front one, or you can get down, like the gate is like a little bit further down next to it, so you'd be able to get into the building via that side gate, but you would have to get through the little gate thing.
Yeah, so it's only through the front.
You can picture that sort of main street thing, right? Front office a bit further down, that's one of the sort of like courtyard inner things that are quite common in London.
Yeah, and there's no other entrance except that first one into the courtyard.
The one into the courtyard and then into the building itself, there's the main one. No, not that you can see.
It's the shop front for people visiting the shop versus the alleyway entrance for staff to come and go.
Yeah,
so
but there's no way to get into the alleyway without going through the front
the alleyway does look like it connects for a bunch of other businesses that are around. It's possible that you might be able to finagle your way in through the coffee shop or the artisanal bakery or one of the other kind of pieces.
That could be a goer. Okay, well, I'll pass all of this on to the gang, with a special note to our dear Pudding that if it's just to be aware he might say don't meet at the business, meet at the house or something. He might request a different location, but best to specify the business because that's where we've got the warrant for.
Sure. Pudding, you want to try and lean into your networks to catch up with Coach. I'll ask you to make a social check just to gather all of that.
Does my bonus apply here? Because I'm trying to get stuff out of people.
Yeah. That absolutely would. Good.
I'm trying
good
to.
Point, and thank you for the reminder.
44 under 70, so not just a regular success.
Okay.
For the contacts for can you put me in touch?
You start to reach out and attempt to set up a meeting. A regular success. Basically what they tell you is Coach kind of comes and goes as he pleases. He is pretty hard to get in contact with, and rocking up at his office rarely results in any kind of benefit. So people go, I'll when I find him, when I put the word out, sort of thing, and they'll say that you want to set up a meeting. You can leave any level of details you want to be contacted, like you could leave a phone number or something like that. But you are not given a direct access line or anything like that.
Okay. We didn't get a phone number or anything when we did our research into him.
That you could find.
I could throw a book. I could throw like a brick through his window or something. I'd probably get him to turn up.
Quite possibly, yeah. Were you saying something?
Does the warrant cover that? No, just when they go like turning out the business rarely goes well. They're just like he will be irritated and not do a deal with you. Not like people have vanished.
Oh no, sorry. As in, he's rarely there. So they will go and you will knock a bunch on the door and it's no use.
B&E time, I reckon.
Yeah. And that said, the warrant gives you permission. You've got permission to search. You can break into this place legally. You could also do something like get in touch with the landlord and say, I have a warrant, let me in.
Give us the key.
Yeah.
I mean, I still think like I've been told that it's not a good idea to go to his office. I have my own reasons for going there, so I'm still going to go and knock on his door and see if he's there and try and be like, excuse me, I have a thing.
And this is from the perspective as well of the Mudlarks. You are in a different situation, but yeah, I might rally you all around the office then if it sounds like that there's nothing. All right, in which case you've got you can either be in the coffee shop about a block away or crouched in an uncomfortable van parked nearby, but you're nearby and ready. You know that there were two people who passed by, whether they're hanging around or not, and otherwise you have the details of the entryway to this thing. Building again, small, quaint, Coach publishing put up. That's about it.
Can we get a wire for Pudding?
You can have requisitioned that kind of equipment, absolutely.
Hell yes.
Excellent.
Yeah, something radio based that isn't gonna.
Yeah, I was gonna say everything put on me is
I feel like
immediately fuzzy.
Actually, do you want to wire me? I'm disguised,
Yeah,
and I'll
why
just
not?
stay
Let's wire the
nearby, and
dog.
I don't cast magic.
It's true. We could do both.
And I just go up like sniffing right at him. Or just the wire is constantly just drowned out by.
Yeah, if we can, I mean, if Lucy's gonna be with me, then wiring up Lucy's fine with me.
Why
Or,
not me? And then also I can go for a snoop. I can go and try and look elsewhere if I find something interesting. All right, cool.
cool.
I'd be inclined to sit in the van rather than the coffee shop.
Yeah, I think I'm
Yep.
going to be as close as I can get to the spot. And then I think when Pudding and Lucy go in, I'll do just a casual tourist guy. I'm dressed very touristy today. I look exactly like, oh, just some Aussie here on holiday. My wife's holed up in the hotel kind of deal.
Hotel.
Yeah.
Knee-length cargo shorts, Hawaiian shirt,
Crocs.
Jump out of your mind.
yeah.
Starting a fight.
I'm
In that
rocking the
case-
Crocken, and I would just scroll past with my camera when at the same time that you guys go in, just in case you need some quick backup.
Yep.
Asking the way to Buckingham Palace, no matter where you are.
Yeah.
In that case, since I will be in the van and, things might go south, I might go stab vest.
Okay. So you're in heavy.
Mace, baton. Yeah, let's just in case.
All
Yeah.
right. All makes
Official PC gear.
total sense. So it's about probably 1 p.m. ish, 12:30 maybe, when you decide to make the approach. PC Lewis, you are parked inside the van itself, basically directly opposite the outside of the office. It takes you ages to get a park, but you find one eventually. Barton, you've planned your stroll by. Lucy, you are a dog. No one's suspicious of you. You look so well behaved, or smelly.
Like a scamp.
Yeah, exactly. Pudding, ready to go and knock. All right.
I do so.
You cross over, head up, and
I have my little backpack on, with my also that has the box in it. Probably wrapped up in some kind of like wax paper as opposed to an evidence bag.
totally.
And just I look like your regular like person who wanders around London with like a rain jacket on, or like a parka, whatever they are,
Absolutely. No, yeah.
windbreaker, and yeah.
Rap sharply on the door. No answer for a little while.
Okay.
You're waiting for at least a little bit. Give this person an appropriate amount of time. Yeah, I confirm. So you're standing outside. You knock again. You
Yeah, I am, for all intents and purposes, I am taking the role very much of a regular ass person who found a thing, was told that this guy would buy it, and has gone up to see if I can get in contact with him. He will probably have in his head what he thinks is going on if he's been told. That's fine with me, but the guise I am taking is, hello, I found a thing. I was told you might buy it.
Yeah.
Would you buy this off me, please? That's until something changes. That's where I'm going in. So yeah, I knock, I wait.
Yeah. You give it a proper 2-3 minutes of no one is answering. There's a little bell that you press to the side, or that you don't hear.
I might also do
any
the thing
buzz
of
from
like,
inside. Yeah.
if there's a window, I might do the thing that people do when they're like trying just to kind of like peer to see if I can see anything. Again, if I see anything, great, but I'm playing the part of someone who's just trying to see if someone's home or around.
For sure.
Is
You play this part for a bit, and what I critically need to get here is what is your next step? If this fails, do you abort, kind of turn and leave, or are you going to start
Give 'em a call?
scoping out to other locations?
No, I think I'm
got a
going
warrant.
to wander over to that gate.
Yep.
Just like, he's not here, but I can see there's another entrance.
You walk past
And then-
Lucy in doing so.
Yep, and then I would like to do something, Jim, that has been in my character sheet since the beginning. I have locksmith.
I love it.
no.
Hell
Whoa,
yes.
hold on.
Like-
We've
got
got
a
a
warrant.
warrant, but we wanted to make contact first. You want to just give him a call and set up the
We
meeting
don't have
that
his
way.
phone number. I just asked. Like I
You
checked
you,
that.
you
we?
We did
have
not
you
get
have a number that would have been on the website, but it yields as many do, could be an old number. It yields a blank. So
Also,
Oh, but
again,
what about it?
Pudding's
what about
just
it?
going with like vibes.
yeah.
Yeah.
The plan was go knock on the door. That didn't work. I don't I think
But-
you can
Go to work, we
absolutely.
can get in.
You do.
I'm-
What about the police database? If we've got his contact details, if he's been arrested before, we're keeping tabs on him. We might have his mobile number.
The idea that is based off what sort of pudding check went through in your research, you do not currently have a way
Okay.
to contact him.
All right. If we got nothing, then we got nothing.
We got nothing.
Yeah. Now
tried.
that you can pull back and try and find a different methodology to do that, but that would be basically this would now be the domain of a further research role or something.
Yeah,
like
no,
that,
no,
where
we're-
you-
No,
we're
we've
here
got the
now.
warrant
We're here
now.
now.
Pudding's
If
right
we-
there. Pudding's got the
Yeah,
skills.
yeah,
Pudding's
yeah,
got
yeah,
the
yeah,
will.
yeah.
Pudding's got the way. Just
Yeah,
scroll
no,
past
yep,
and do
yep,
like
yep,
a thumbs
yep,
up.
yep.
Like a,
Excellent.
Yeah, and I'm still trying to keep this like this is not a because the other thing is regardless of what we have a warrant, so if the police get called on us, we can be like, hello, yes, we're the police, we have a read. But I don't necessarily want to go in as though we are the police with a warrant. I want to do this surreptitiously, kind of.
Oh, the door was open. You must have forgot to lock
Yeah.
it.
Would
They're
you
kind of
believe
like,
it?
oh, the gate was open. I'm just going to go around the side to see if like there's another entrance because maybe they're out the back. Like I'm genuinely just going with the someone who is slightly too nosy and too eager to like contact someone
I'm
and
happy.
doesn't
Stamp
realize how
approval.
obnoxious that is.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
PC Lewis watches, like, but with no number, there's no other way at this stage. So, Pudding, can I get you to make a luck roll?
First one of the campaign.
And you've reset your luck, so you should be able to blow through
Don't
this.
need it.
All right.
Nice. Very nice.
What would that be? Well, it's definitely under half, and it's almost. No, it's not quartered. It'd be
We would
fifth,
have
but
to
we
do
don't. We don't have extremes in this, do we?
No.
No.
Yeah, great. So it's a hard.
So with a hard success, you basically managed to do this without having to like slow down much in your stride. You've got I forget the name of this tool. It's got like a rake or something. You basically just jam it in, kind of and start moving down the alleyway before long.
I would like it to look like I tried the gate, and oh look, it's
it
open.
just happens to be open.
That works
With this.
pretty damn well, and you start
Can
to walk
I
down.
nudge like a rock or a brick, or is there anything?
I can slip in after you and try and
Yeah,
do that because
you've
I've
got-
got pretty
you've got
strong
two allies.
stealth.
I'm following with you, and then we can leave.
It's
buttons there to
mostly
kinda keep it
Something to stop the gate relatching if it closes. If there's something I can just like
It
shove.
doesn't look like in immediate danger of doing that. So yes, you're all good. You
Yeah,
can
you
find
close
something
it.
to like just prop it for a second and slip through. And a moment later, Lucy follows right after you. So the two of you are now heading down that side alley. Barton, would you
Oh,
like
very
to join them?
specifically, it was can it still
Wait,
look
sorry,
mostly
yeah.
closed from the outside, but is a not latched if we need to get out in a hurry, is essentially.
Totally
Yeah,
fine
and so
with
I
that.
can get in behind.
Unless someone comes right up to it, it's going to look, yeah.
Cool.
And Barton, you're
Figure
keeping
in the
watch outside?
angles.
What I might do is, you said that some of the businesses back onto the same
Mhm.
alleyway. I might see if I can kind of go into like a retail store or a coffee
Yeah.
shop or something, or somewhere that I can see through to the back,
Mhm.
which might be, I guess, a luck thing, but then kind of just try and sneak through and just, like I'm meant to be there rather than try and talk my way through, just
I like that.
You're a tourist that
I-
has lost
I'm-
where the bathrooms are.
I've got pretty good stealth, so I can probably
Yeah,
like wait
I-
till a staff member's distracted and just be like, out the back door
I
and
think
into
this
the
is
courtyard.
absolutely the domain of a stealth check. So I'll get you to make a stealth
I
roll.
love that.
And then if that fails, I will simply follow.
Ah,
But it'd be good to have a different angle. I'm trying to just get a different angle on the courtyard.
yep.
You know what? 5 luck. Let's
5
do
luck. Okay. So for regular success, you're going to be able to find a moment to dart through. You hit a couple of different retail shops, and eventually you find a small bookstore, and you realize that you're going to be able to dart like straight through there at one point. It's got like a little side access where they have like a customer bathroom, and you can the back gate is not very well locked.
it. Right. The person at the counter, his girlfriend's there, and he's
They got
desperately
a
trying
lot
to
to
impress her with
Exactly.
the last massive huge book that he read that she's really not that interested in. So they're very distracted, and I'm gonna.
I love it. I definitely tried to think of I don't know, Atlas Shrugged. Pick your annoying book of choice.
Oh, it's
Avatar.
Infinite Jest. It's Infinite
It is
Jest.
Infinite Jest. Yeah.
Cloud Atlas?
I don't mind Cloud Atlas. But,
No, I don't mind either. It's a chunky one.
So you've got a good view of that area, but you are going to be stalled for a little bit. You do not immediately join as the two of you head down. It's a bit greener, nicer in the courtyard. There's a single there's basically an alleyway that runs straight down where you can pull in like a lorry or anything like that. And then there's like a row of different doors that you head out into a tree that's set off to one side. You walk down until you're at the side door that leads back into Coach's business. And upon trying the back door, it's unlocked. And you can just push it and step inside. I assume you're going to do so?
First of all, I am going to crouch down to Lucy and give her ears a little scritch and be like, okay, I know you already know this, but we're going to be real quiet. Because that's important right now. I'm not very quiet, but we'll do our best. If anything happens, though, if anyone jumps out, I want you to bark as loudly as you ever have. I want you to howl. I want you to make a ruckus, because I want every bloody person to know in this place that something's going on, all right? Yeah? Good girl. Treat. Probably whatever, like, random thing I have in my bag, but
Lucy's unnoticed. Lucy's toes are crossed. If her mouth is full with devouring enemy, she will not bark. But otherwise, yeah, she'll go for it.
Hell yeah.
I would make before I go in. No, actually, pudding is sensible, but no, pudding's not sensible. Pudding is instinct. The door is unlocked. I will go in. I would like to, while I am going in, try and listen out for sounds and movement. But pudding is not the person to do that before they open the door, which is what I was trying to work out in my head just then. I was like, nope, they'll do it while they go inside, but they won't. Yeah.
Perfect. So the two of you head in and you will begin your search, which is when we'll jump back to PC Lewis. Outside, stationed, watching. I want you to make an observation roll.
I think I can do that. And I will.
Oh, you sure can.
Quite good.
Okay, fantastic.
Success.
Which means you're keeping a close eye, checking mirrors. Is it a nervous energy, or like what's your stakeout vibe?
He hasn't done many stakeouts before, so but he's gonna, get used to it. So just kind of open to what's gonna happen.
Okay.
I feel like the beginning of any stakeout is the nervous pee section, and then as it goes on, it just kind of becomes boring.
That's it. 100%. Keeping vigilant. And I think I've said before, packed last time we had a similar potential run-in with a practitioner, packed some screamers in a pocket.
Perfect. You are
Those ones again.
Yeah, you don't know yet. I used them last time, but we haven't used them yet.
Okay.
I'm hoping we will someday.
Threatening.
You are in that nervous pee stage. So you're keeping a very close eye out on everything, and it absolutely pays off. A white van comes driving down the street, pretty similar to the kind of nondescript one that you have, stops trying to find a park. Your eyes flick, and you notice in the front there are, I assume this information has been shared, so tell me otherwise unless you're not sharing, if you're not sharing information, but description of the same two people that appeared to have been searching around. They are looking for a park to get in, and you've spotted them before they have to go to the end of the street and you turn back and stuff like that. They look like they're trying to park in front of Coach's place.
All right.
Sorry, Jim, these are the two people,
Buggy dudes.
didn't quite manage to make the football team.
Exactly,
Thugs.
yeah.
Cool.
Two people who look like they might be, paid muscle or something like that. Looking for a park. They spot one, but it's on the other side of the road, closer to where you are. So they have to go all the way down, and they're going to come back around. So you spot people
Actually,
approaching.
in England, you don't have to do that. If you spot one on the other side of the road, you can just cut across traffic and park facing the opposite direction. It's real weird.
What?
Well,
Outrageous.
Yeah, it sucks,
They're-
man. It sucks so much. I hate
wild.
in which case,
What the hell?
they're coming much quicker than anticipated.
it. I hate it
send-
so much.
I'll send a text out. 2 POIs from earlier coming back.
Is it
Maybe
better
trying
or
to come in.
worse than, I think it's either France or Italy. I think it's Italy, where they leave their handbrakes off so that cars can nudge each other so that you can
That's-
bumper
yeah.
to
I
bumper
love that,
park.
because I think let's make space. Get them all in.
Yeah, that's I've seen that around some places. But anyway, you send out the text.
Yeah.
So
Maybe coming in.
absolutely, Barton, you are absolutely going to get that text because you are aware and watching. Art.
We are playing in the mid 2010s, so
2016 nominally.
yeah. So Pudding is about the age that I would have been at that point. Therefore, I know this to be true, that as a millennial, phones are always on silent.
Okay.
So my phone absolutely is on vibrate only and has been pretty much since the age of about, like, since I got a phone.
It's going to be particularly useful for helping you with stealth, and unfortunately, also possible to miss that you're getting a text.
Surely, though, you would know that's the
vibrate.
main way we're
Depending-
communicating in this
depending on
kind of
what
tense
happens
situation.
I'm
as
gonna be
you come
honest,
in
Jim.
and
If I
find
keep
things.
if I keep my phone in the same place that I keep my phone, which is my back pocket, trust me, you know when it vibrates.
You know what
Good
it
You don't
point.
miss that.
But let's see what happens as you go inside, because we're drawing towards the close of the session. But stepping in and starting to look through, first of all, you immediately find Coach's apartment is a mess. It looks pretty close to abandoned, although you
Apartment
do
or
notice.
office? Sorry.
Office.
Office.
Office. My bad. His place of business is abandoned. There is stuff everywhere, although there is what looks like a pretty evident like thoroughfare of someone who's been like stomping across piles and piles of like books and collectible materials and all stuff. There are bookcases stacked with stuff, a lot of it which is still in packaging. There's a huge pile of mail right on the counter where somebody would usually come down. There's a staircase that leads up to a second floor, but this sort of like front area is basically a long, thin room heading towards the front door with a bathroom out the back. The windows are shuttered out the front. As soon as you walk in, I'm going to get both of you to make a sense vestigia.
Yep. Hard.
Hard? Okay. And art?
That is not a success. If Lucy's...
It's all going to be
Come
pretty
on, I
important
think.
here in terms of like what you know, what you don't, when you spent luck and everything. So give me exactly what you'd like to do.
I think we've established that Lucy can communicate these things to us.
Yeah,
You can
okay,
point
well,
out and can make alerted. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I like not leaning on the fact that Lucy can or cannot. I don't think that Pudding is thinking necessarily at hard about Vestigia. Again, because we've established it, like, it's almost something that they do without thinking. Like, either something hits them and they go, ooh, or like not at all. So I'm happy to just say I walk in and maybe I get a vibe that like there's Vestigia around, but I don't know what it is. I'm just like, I'm ignoring it. It's not filtering through.
Perfect.
So I'm fine with that.
Whereas Lucy, you get with a regular success a sharp.
no, hard success.
Yeah. You got a hard, but the rate.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, you got to stagger out the
I'll cut you off
information
again.
dramatically. Yeah. Regular success is going to give you that same detection of vestigia that you got from inside Marsha's apartment. That is to say, a kind of this sort of salpeter kind of chemically offness, right?
But not the same as the box.
No. As you, it is here. It is diffusing this area, and suddenly, it clicks over. No, it's hard to tell the difference sometimes. This now reeks of Signare to you more than a lingering vestigia. And now that you are in sort of a place of business, which presumably Coach is here every day, suddenly you make that connection. This is the Signare of whoever lives here, whoever makes this their home, and it's seeped in, but there is another presence underneath it, and that is just a subtleness. But as you now smell it, it begins to overpower that reeking, horrible smell. Just unspeakably bad filth starts to bubble up, and you can also tell that whatever that awful scent is, that was here, and then you can detect it leaching out.
Oh yeah, well, hackles up. I'll move to approach.
Perfect. You both begin to move through in. You can see the upstairs area, and we'll close things off as I ask you both to make a quick observation roll.
Oh, and also I'm having gotten the message that there are those other people coming in. My goal is to get behind them. So wherever I am in the courtyard, to not go into the building until something happens with them. I want to be kind of tucked away, and I want to get the jump on them.
You.
If they want to get the jump on you, I want to get the jump on them.
That's perfect. I think I'll ask you for another stealth roll here, Barton. I'm sorry, because you actually ditch your angle and come back around, probably.
No, because I got in through the other
Oh,
way.
I understand.
If they're going to come through, yeah.
I
So
see
I'm
what you're
kind of
saying.
in the courtyard already.
Okay, perfect. And PC Lewis, are you going to be staying in the car? Or are you going to? Because you can
have
only
not-
intercept these people
This
right
seems
away.
important. I'm locking it.
I'm not going to incept them if it doesn't look like they're going into the building. I have not learnt the spell Car Killer, so I think that means we have to get out and go up to their vehicle to disable it instead of just tossing it. But I would like to disable their vehicle.
Okay, all right. So they go to park right outside, and you're not sure whether but you're going to try and disable the vehicle.
If they're getting out and going inside,
They start to get out and go in, so you get out ready to do that. Start approaching. Barton, if you're not going to be coming back around, you don't need to make a stealth. I'm sorry, I made you do that. So you are positioned and ready to go.
Because I just didn't go the whole way in.
Observation rolls. Lucy, how did you
failed.
go? You failed. Okay, in which case I presume you've previously indicated that although you are like for crime scenes, you tend to search. So I think that my assumption is you probably go upstairs, and it's just bad positioning in terms of what might be about to go down.
The only thing is I'm trying to keep the mic on Pudding, but yes, I agree. I'm
top of the landing.
If there's nothing here to be recording, I'll begin to head out.
You start to look, and as far as you're aware, at this stage, you're not crashing into anybody. This place looks completely abandoned. Pudding, how did you go?
I failed. And I was going to lock it, but I kind of like the idea that, like, if Lucy and I are together and have decided to go upstairs because there's nothing obvious here, again, to keep near the mic, I might just go with Lucy and kind of be fine with that. That seems fun and silly.
In which case, again, just real bad positioning for anything that is about to come down as these two thugs appear to be approaching. What you do get is, as you get up to the top of the landing, we close things as you arrive. Again, the top floor, which is mostly kind of a storage area for stuff that wouldn't be down in the showroom downstairs, is everything has been shifted aside to make way for what would presumably have been a very, very large piece of something. Some kind of complex machinery, if you had to guess. That is now gone. And there's a big empty space where it would have been. And surrounding it is flyers, like a bunch of what looks like con merch. We're only just out of PAX, so we some memories. But this is not for any kind of video game convention. It is for Offset 2016, taking place tonight at the Tate Modern, a celebration of printing of traditional printing for the modern age.
Ooh,
hell yeah!
That was a bit of key information we probably missed at some point.
There was a couple of opportunities, but at any rate.
You said it's like we're still here. It's still midday. We've still got time. I found a
Still got
pamphlet.
time.
Quick.
I know that we're probably gonna end on a cliffhanger, but I totally want to bend down and be like, "Look, Lucy, we're going on a Tate."
Exactly, which is why when I was recently in London, I made sure to get a little trip across myself. But at any rate, with the thugs approaching and with a destination in mind, we will close things off there. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you, Art. Thank you, Jackson. Thank you, Dave. Thank you, Alex.
Hey, Jim.
Hey, Jim.
Thank you to Sirenscape and to Roll20, tools which we use to improve our games. And thank you to all the lovely viewers, listeners, and what have you. This is, again, the font of all evil, which probably makes a lot more sense now that we've started talking about typesetting.
So it was F-O-N-T, not F-O-U-N-T.
Not like a fountain.
The font of all evil.
Very good.
The fountain font is F-O-U-N-T, isn't it?
I'd have to.
Or is it still F-O-N-T?
I think also
It's just
font.
on.
I think there is a different word that a river can also have a font.
Yeah.
I suspect is the intent.
Well, it just means like where the river comes from, like the source.
It's
interesting.
It's very clever, very clever, and you can get it from Chaosium.com. Rivers of London. We will be back next week, and well, that's about it. Thanks so much, everybody, and bye bye.
Ciao.
Bye-bye now.